next, I'm going to be talking about tips and tricks to lower your utility bills in a cost of living crisis. So there's many ways for us to lower our utility bills. Little tricks that you can make that are cost effective to have an overall compound effect on lowering your utility bills, like adding thermostatic radiator valves to your heating system, having your heating system properly flushed by a heating engineer or a heating company to get all the sludge and debris out of your system so that you can maximize the heating coming out of the boiler to use less gas and cost you less on your gas bill. There's also things like fitting a new smart thermostat that you can use on your phone, which you can turn your heating on 20 minutes before you get home from work so that your house is nice and warm when you're coming in. And then that's a way of using less gas. So with adding thermostatic radiator valves to your system, you can then set those valves up in your property to how you want to run them. So like in the bathroom, having it on 5 because you want to warm your towels. In the rooms that you use the most, like obviously having those on 5 as well. But like me, I like to sleep and I like to be cool when I sleep. So I have the thermostatic radiator valve in my bedroom down on 1 because I don't like it to be too hot. And by adjusting your thermostats and your thermostatic radiator valves in your home for your comfort, you can get the most out of your heating system, and that way you can be comfortable for longer, and it doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg. Depending on your home, you can either do your thermostat on a time mode or on continuous. So in my property, it's a very well insulated property. So I have my thermostat on 20 degrees all year long because in the winter, 20 degrees is a nice comfortable temperature. I class that as a base temperature. It doesn't have to be 20. It could be 16 or whatever you feel comfortable in your house. By setting that on continuous all year long, it actually uses the weather as a compensator. So in the summer, where it's above that temperature anyway, it doesn't come on, so you're not using any gas. But then when the months get colder, you actually benefit because once you're at that base temperature and the weather drops below that base temperature, your heating kicks in. So then you don't have to turn it on when you actually feel cold then to heat up to that temperature because your home's already at that temperature and you just heat it hotter when it drops below it. Your heating will come on for 10 minutes, heat it above it, and then it just stabilizes so that you're warmer and more comfortable in your home for longer and it costs you less money. Whereas on a timed function, if your home takes an hour or 2 hours to heat up when you've got a big temperature difference, well, with that, say the outside temperature is 5 degrees in the middle of winter and you've got your thermostat turned all the way down when you go to bed. So you wake up in the morning, you turn your thermostat on, and that thermostat goes from 10 to 18, say, for argument's sake. So you've got to heat up 8 degrees in one big push. So your boiler's on maximum. It's using as much gas as it can. Your radiators are bouncing out as much heat as they can to heat your home. And then that thermostat will cut off when your temperature reaches that temperature. So for instance, if it takes 3 hours for your home to go from 10 degrees to 18 degrees, that's 180 minutes worth of heat. Say then you go to work then at 8 o'clock, you've had it on from 5 until 8. You go to work, your heating goes off, it drops back down to 10 degrees because 1, there's no body temperatures in your home because there's no one there. 2, your heating's off, so the ambient temperature of your home drops down substantially. You come home from work, your heating's on timed again. So then you've got to heat another 3 hours from 5 until 8 o'clock on your boiler on full gas to heat up to get your base temperature again, that 18 degrees. Then you go then you go to bed, you turn it off and you go to bed and you do the same thing over and over again. Whereas on continuous, if your home is well insulated, it comes on, say even if it comes on a 20 times a day, for 10 minutes at a time, to increase the temperature of 1 degree, because as soon as it drops below 18 to 17, it's going to come on and it's going to heat your home that 1 degree and a little bit more, okay? So say it comes on 20 times a day at 10 minutes a time, that's 200 minutes throughout your whole day, you know? So you're literally looking at, on a timed setting of coming on 180 minutes in the morning and 180 minutes in the evening. That's 360 minutes. If you had it on a continuous setting and say come on 20 times a day, which most places won't come on 20 times a day, but for argument's sake, you're only using 200 minutes. So that's 160 minutes of gas that you're not using. So on case studies that we actually done within Hale Heating, my other business, we actually found that on one case, we reduced the gas bill by over £250 for the year, just by changing from time twice a day to continuous throughout the day. That actually gave the customer lots of benefits, you know. Their home was always warm and more comfortable. They were spending less money on their gas bill, and it just allowed them not to be going through extremes, you know, not worrying about, because it was a more structured way to do it, you know. They can monitor their base temperature, so once they monitor that base temperature, they never turned it up or down more than 3 degrees at a time, so that they was watching their energy consumption. But by using that base temperature format, it actually made them save on the utility bill, be warmer and more comfortable for longer, and not have to worry about going into the winter months where shall I just put on an extra layer, or shall I put my heating on today, you know. And instead of doing it in extreme circumstances, it gave them the control back. And that's just one tip that I'd give to people is know your home, find out where you are comfortable, and then work it from there of the best ways to run your heating system